With Charizard taking a back seat to cards like the Umbreon alternate art, are we really going to start to see Charizard decline in the TCG? And is this mass printing going to create Pokemon burnout for casual collectors? Those are questions from you guys and more that we're going to answer in today's Q&A. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, TCG Funhouse, where we talk all things Pokemon TCG. I am Travis with TCG Funhouse, and we are back for another episode of Q&A, where you guys ask us some spicy, titillating questions focused around Pokemon cards. And of course, I'm here with my boy, ASX TCG. Say what's up, my guy.
What's up, everybody? I'm super excited. I think I say it every week, but I love these episodes. I love getting these questions from you guys. It's an absolute blast. So I'm happy to be back in the hot seat again.
I agree. I keep trying to come up with other videos to do, and I'm just like, people want us to answer their questions,
Yeah.
And
I'm liking it.
It's good, too. A lot of times you guys have questions that get us thinking about things that we wouldn't even normally think about or talk about or anything like that. So I appreciate that, guys. And, of course, if you guys want your questions answered by the Gym Leaders crew here, ASX and myself, all you have to do is leave a comment below on this video, a question, anything you want, as long as it's related to Pokemon, trading cards, and I don't know, like maybe food. Like I like food too. Ask us some food questions. I'm down with that. I mean, I'm a big boy. All right, I'm a big boy. There's some questions about food. But yeah, that's all you guys got to do. But I'm not going to answer your question if you're not a subscriber here on the channel. So, make sure you slap that sub as well, guys, and hit that like button. It really helps get it out there. And while you're down there, go visit ASX's channel, link in description, and show him some love as well. But anyway, let's start diving right in here, guys. And of course, the very first, the hook, the big question right there on the thumbnail, guys, is Charizard's popularity starting to decline and starting to wane now that some of these other cards are starting to become just as popular and even more expensive, like the Umbreon and the Rayquaza alternate arts and stuff like that? ASX, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a great question. A very great question. My heart wants to say no. Charizard is king, and he will live on as king forever. But, I mean, yeah, I think his popularity honestly sits with a lot of the older fans, right? A lot of the fans that grew up with Kanto, that grew up, watching the anime before they went to school, playing the Game Boy games and everything, Pokemon Stadium on the N64, everything like that. Like, yes, I feel like for that era of people, Charizard is kind of king, right? And will continue to be that way. Like, the older collectors are going to be the ones primarily interested in like the older, WotC Charizards and things like that. Now, for what's interesting in my head right now is that as we move forward, we're getting more and more, new collectors and everything like that don't have that connection to Charizard. And I think the person that asked this actually kind of mentioned that in their question as well. But I think that's honestly it. The further and further we go, the further we get away from Kanto and base set and all that, and you start to see other Pokemon kind of as some big hitters, like we have all the evolutions. That gets people excited about that, and I think we kind of are looking at kind of like an era where Charizard's not always top of mind for every single collector. So yeah, great question.
Yes, which, by the way, that question came from Chris Barodi over on YouTube. Barati.
Thanks, Chris.
So I usually mention that. I forgot. I apologize, Chris. You mean a lot to us. You really do. But yes, he does mention basically along the lines of the alternate art Umbreon being the same price as the base set Charizard and all that kind of thing, which we talked about last week. But I'm going to completely tell you that you're wrong, ASX.
Okay.
Charizard is always going to be the pre-Madonna, right? Is always going to be the most popular guy in the room when he walks in, regardless. And one of the reasons for that is casual collectors and investors are two major groups in the Pokemon TCG that a lot of people forget about or don't even worry about, and they are still all about Charizard, right?
Yeah.
So as much as Brilliant Stars was successful because of the Trainer Gallery and Legends Arceus, let's be honest, it was most popular because it had 2 Charizard chase cards in it. And I honestly still wouldn't be surprised if, down the road that Charizard alternate art is actually it overtakes the Umbreon alt art. I really do. I think we're in this weird phase right now where the rarity of that Umbreon and also the fact that Evolving Skies is hard to find on the shelves right now. It's still, you can 10x find Brilliant Stars than you can Evolving Skies right now. And I think we're kind of like, I don't want to call it like this honeymoon phase, but we're kind of like in this honeymoon phase with the Umbreon alternate art where it's like, okay, people were still pulling it a couple of months ago and blah, 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 but now they're like not,
Right.
Like there's maybe one pack inside, the bolt-on box. Maybe you can find a couple of individual sleeved boosters at your store. Things like that. I think the new Pokeballs had an Evolving Skies inside as well.
I think so.
But there's going to be a reprint coming. There's going to be, Evolving Skies, Brilliant Stars. Let's face it, they're going to reprint everything.
I think so.
And I think it will kind of get back to, okay, Charizard is number 1. The Charizard alternate art is back to being number 1. The Rainbow. I think at the end of the day, we are going to settle in this realm of the most expensive cards during the Sword and Shield era 10, 15 years from now is going to be the Rainbow VMAX from Shining Fates Charizard, the 2 Charizards from Brilliant Stars, maybe that Celebrations Charizard might have a decent value. It's not going to be up near where other stuff is. And I do expect this astronomical price of where this Umbreon is to come back down in reality to at least be playing on the same field as some of these Charizard cards. But the biggest thing for me is I don't know what the future holds. I don't think that a set, focused around other Pokemon with Charizard is ever going to do as good as something that has a Charizard in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
But Chris, thank you for the question. I see where you're going. I just don't buy it. Because that's, Pokemon solution for everything is, like ASS likes to say, slap Charizard on it. Slap a Charizard on it. Okay. So we're gonna transition into another question here that is very similar to that one, because I kind of mentioned it for a second when I talk about the reprints here. So Nick, excuse my language on this, Hussein, also in the comment section on YouTube. All of our questions today came from the comment section on YouTube to let you guys know that we are seeing those and we are going to respond to them. Before we were doing Patreon questions, Instagram questions, things like that. So his question is, with reprints coming to Evolving Skies and Brilliant Stars, do you see an opportunity for the Fusion Strike alternate arts a la Gengar, Espeon, and Mew to raise in price over time? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Fusion Strike was such an... Not that the set wasn't unfortunate. Where the set came out was very, very unfortunate. Coming out right after the Celebrations hype and the Evolving Skies hype, then we get Fusion Strike. And it just didn't feel, like the two previous sets.
And then we got a Charizard set.
And then we got a Charizard set, exactly, to come right after that. So, yeah, it was just in a weird spot. Had that set been maybe earlier on in the Sword and Shield era, I think we wouldn't probably even really be having this conversation. So my answer is yes. I do think over time, especially if that's not going to be a set that they're going to heavily reprint, I definitely see the alternate arts, all 3 of them, increasing in price. I definitely think, and I know you do as well. I think you even had a video on your channel about them being undervalued. I totally would agree with that right now. And I think that, we're going to see some increases on those down the road.
If you guys have watched my channel at all and any of my other videos, you know that I think Fusion Strike is the most underrated Pokemon TCG set that you could possibly get your hands on right now. And I think you should be buying booster boxes of it. Where this stigma came from, that Fusion Strike is a terrible set, absolutely blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah.
So, like, if you just step back a second and realize, is it Evolving Skies? No. Is it Charizard Anchored Brilliant Stars? No. Is it the 25th anniversary set? No. Right? And like you said, it just happens to be right in the middle of all that crap.
Yeah.
But if you just step back for a second and realize you're talking about a set that has 3 major fan favorite chase cards in them, including 2 like full lines, the Mew and the Gengar. You're getting V Max, you're getting the alternate arts, you're getting everything, Rainbow for those cards, right?
Yep.
And it is absolutely huge, and you put it in front of Chilling Reign, Battle Styles, Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, Sword and Shield. It's ahead of all of those sets.
Yeah.
Vivid Voltage could give it a run for its money with the amazing rares and the Rainbow Pikachu, right? But that is where it is for me. That's where Fusion Strike lands, is right there with Vivid Voltage, just behind Brilliant Stars and maybe Shining Fates, right? Like that era. Because I'm telling you, Astral Radiance is going to be worse than Fusion Strike. Whatever set we're getting after Astral Radiance is going to be worse than Fusion Strike. So please, I mean, buy some Fusion Strike. And I do think that in particular, those alternate arts are extraordinarily undervalued. The fact that the Espeon is more affordable than the Glaceon, Leafeon, and Sylveon from Evolving Skies is insane. Makes no sense.
Crazy.
Because if that Espeon was inside Evolving Skies, it would be the 3rd most expensive card after Rayquaza. It would go Umbreon, Rayquaza, and Espeon would be right there as the 3rd most expensive set. But because it's a card in the set, because it's in Fusion Strike, it's down to like $100 below the other 3, clearly inferior in terms of fan favorite evolutions.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. And Gengar is arguably one of the top 5 most popular Pokemon of all time. And Mew is up there as well, top 5, top 10 of all time. So, yes, I do think all of those cards are extraordinarily undervalued. If that Mew would have been in another set, if that Gengar would have been in another set in a different time and release, they'd be worth significantly more money. So, yes, long story short, just kidding, long story, long-winded answer. Answer is yes. So, but yes, very good question. Thank you, Nick, for that question as well. One more going on here, and this was also on the thumbnail. Interesting question from Dio Sama over on YouTube as well. With mass printing and pull rates dropping, will Pokemon fans slow down on opening packs and get burnt out after they pull almost nothing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And if you haven't, go check out our most recent podcast that we did this week.
Talked about it a little bit.
Talked about it a little bit. And I mean, I'll be flat out honest with you. Like, that's how I feel. That's how I'm feeling. Like, I have left more packs, more boxes, more tins on the shelf than I have my whole time that I've been doing this content creation on YouTube now than I have before. Because it's just like, I feel like I'm going to be disappointed, and like that's not what I want to feel when I'm picking up packs off the shelf. Like, I want to feel like this is going to be a good shot, and like I'm going to walk out of here, not with $0 in these packs, but because a lot of the stuff right now is just no hits. You're getting bad. Not even hollows, right? And you just the regular rares aren't even 20 cents most of the time. Sometimes,
dude, it's ridiculous. They're like 8 cents. The regular hollows are like 15 cents now at most.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, the lower pull rates are causing me not to want to buy as much product. Probably giving me a little burnout as well. Yeah, I totally feel like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Because what my concern is for like the casual fan. If the casual buyer and fan, buys ETB or even just a handful of cards, right? They buy a handful of cards on the checkout lane, right? It's an impulse buy. There's a reason why the cards are up by the checkout counter, because, you know, people look over and see it and they go, ooh, I see there's some Brilliant Stars over there. I'm just going to go grab a couple of packs of Pokemon cards, you know, to relive my childhood or whatever, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I mean, you can only do that so many times without getting at least one cool card where it's like, oh, look, I got a Rainbow Rare Arceus, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, you do that once and it's 3 regular rares. You do it again and then you get a holo, and you do it one more time and you get a V that's worth 65 cents. Are you going to go back as a casual collector, you know? And if you are casual, let me know in the comment section, would you go back, you know? And then on top of that, and I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. Let's take you. I'm going to point you out here. So this is your fault, ASX.
Ooh.
I wouldn't consider you casual. I would consider you above casual. You're a fan, right?
Yeah.
You're right around that hardcore section. I mean, let's face it. You have a YouTube channel around Pokemon. You're doing box breaks and all that stuff now. Like, you're in it, okay?
Yeah.
I think you not wanting to buy Pokemon cards is exactly what they kind of wanted, because they want more casual people to be able to pick up stuff. They do that. I think that's what the goal is here for these decreased.
Good point.
Yeah. So I mean, what was happening for a while there is this FOMO was kicking in. So when people like you and myself, not us individually, but people like us, were going to Walmart and finding a restock, they were completely emptying the shelves. And what happens when you have 1 or 2 people buying all of the Pokemon cards? The rest of the people that aren't getting it are going to leave. They're going to leave the niche. They're going to stop buying. They're going to stop checking the card section because they know that nothing is going to be there. So how do you combat that? You combat that by having somebody who just spent $600 on product get $30 worth of product inside, right? $30 worth of cards inside. So it's, you know, that person who's dropping buckets of money can only lose so much money before they go, can't do that again.
Yeah.
Can't empty the shelves of all those ETBs again, because last time I did and I opened it all up, I lost 85% of my value, you know?
Yeah.
So that, I think,
really
is, it's one of the reasons why that has happened, because Pokemon doesn't care about third-party prices. They don't care about singles prices on it. They don't give a crap on what card is selling for what. Maybe when they look into print cards in the future, they may. Like with the spike of the Umbreon card, they may think that Umbreon and Evolutions are going to hold a ton of clout, so they might print more of them in the future, which that is just analytics, right? But and then you got the people who go, all right, well, why do they care, right? As long as they sell all their product, they sell all their products. Why do they care? Which Pokemon sold it anyway because Target bought it from them. They don't, you know, they're not getting paid once Target sells. Target's already buying that crap beforehand, you know.
Yeah. Once it's on the Target shelf, Pokemon's done. They made their money.
Yeah, once it's in the freaking vendor, and once they click that little button that says order and stuff, you know, as a guy that used to work for Frito-Lay years ago, that's exactly what used to happen with the chips too. As soon as it's in that little scanner, and as soon as it's done, it's bought. They don't care if it sells after that at all. Yeah, they may have to buy it back. You know, it depends on the contract, but whatever, that's minutia details. But when Pokemon's looking at it for long-term play, they need 100 people buying one ETB, not one guy buying 100 ETBs. Because if that one guy leaves the niche, they lost it all. Now nobody's buying those ETBs. To where out of those 100, if they only lose 30% of them, that's a lot less of a hit than that one guy who decides, I've kind of had enough, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just keep giving long-ass winded answers. Okay.
You got some good answers, though. I like them.
I feel powerful today. It feels good. It feels good. Michael Wolf, this is the last question of the day. Michael Wolf, also on YouTube, says, when do you think the best time is to pick up some of the lower-end singles, maybe like some of the gold card Pokemon?
Definitely. Well, it kind of depends. I would say if it's a card that's not super playable, it takes a lot less time to get to a good price point for
I
those
agree.
cards. So I would say, typically a couple months after release of that set, definitely start taking a look at those gold cards, at those rainbows, that aren't super playable. Now, the ones that are super playable still in the TCG, those are gonna, still carry a little bit more of a premium. Yeah, for like, what are some of them? I can't even think of some of the gold cards. There's a lot of like the gold trainer cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you find,
The not playable
typically
ones.
get played. Yeah. Yeah. So those you can typically find a couple months after release, and that's when I would start looking. Doesn't mean you're always going to find the best prices around that time, but the longer you wait, on those cards, the better. And then I would say as well, once things get out of rotation completely. So anything in the Sun and Moon era, or earlier than that, is completely out of rotation. You find a lot of times that cards, all the playable cards that weren't at good prices earlier, have dropped at that point too.
Yeah.
And rotation's always in September's, I believe.
Very good points.
Well.
Very good points. I agree with a lot with what you said, but this is a very difficult question, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple ways that you can answer it. For the first time around, I would say wait 4 to 6 months, right? Sure. Wait for at least like that second set to be out and about, right? Like, so let's just take a look at like Fusion Strike, for instance. Like Brilliant Stars comes out, and you're still finding a lot of Fusion Strike out at your stores and stuff like that, right? So it still is more prevalent. You're kind of like in a decent spot where there's a lot of singles available, but you can still find a lot of packs being ripped. And then when that next set comes out, that's really where you're kind of like, okay, Fusion Strike, now we're kind of reaching that ceiling to where you're going to have how many singles available, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now that we have 120 of the Gengar VMAX regular, right? Because we're talking about the lower end singles, right? The regular Gengar VMAX, the regular Mew V, whatever, right? The $4 to $5 cards, the $10 cards, things like that. Perfect example is that Mew VMAX. When that Mew VMAX rotates out, like you were saying, it's going to be significantly more affordable, right?
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that I would say, and the reasons why I say this is a difficult question, is because everything I just said is fine and dandy and makes total sense. But now, go back and look at the singles prices on Sun and Moon base set. They're cheaper than they've ever been. And now you're talking about a set that's 4 to 5 years old. I think they came out in 2017. Sun and Moon base set did. Yeah. So if you're willing to wait 4 to 5 years, you'll be able to get them even cheaper than you are right now. But that's crazy, right? Waiting 5 years to buy the cards you want from a set.
Right. Are you still really going to want it as much as you did 5 years from now?
Correct. Yeah, right. So that's why I'm saying it's a difficult question, because yes, I guarantee you, that Mew VMAX in 5 years is going to be cheaper than it's going to be in 4 months, 5 months. But then again, it's gone, right? Just look at all the early Sun and Moon era stuff. It's all dirt cheap. Almost everything is less than $15. Everything is less than $20. And even the big hits, you're looking at $45 for the big hits, maybe $60 if it's something that's really nice, non-Charizard. So again, if you're willing to wait 4 years on Brilliant Stars, 5 years on Fusion Strike, you're probably going to be able to get these cards significantly cheaper than you will then. But that's just not feasible. It's just not, otherwise just don't buy Sword and Shield at all, Yeah. So that's my answer. 4 to 5 months, 4 to 5 to 6 months after is when you're really be seeing good prices on these cards, but they're going to slap their floors in 4 or 5 years from now. And then 15, 20 years from now, they're vintage. And then that's when you're going to get the spike in these prices, right? So when you're buying Pokemon cards, you're going to buy them up here in the middle. They're going to come down in price. You're going to feel like you made a bad investment, and then eventually they're going to go up in price significantly. You can play the crazy buy and sell within a couple of weeks kind of stuff like that Pokemon has going on too, like that Umbreon.
Yeah.
Oh, if I would have bought that Umbreon 2 months ago and then resold it, today I would have made $100. Dude, right. Nobody knows that crap. You're basically a day trader at that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just a whole different story. But yeah, I'd say 4 to 6 months. If you're willing to pay decent price, get a good price on it. If you really want floor prices, you got to wait years. So that's my response. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for your questions. We love answering your questions. Again, please, if you have anything that you want us to answer, leave that in the comment section below. You can also send us DMs on Instagram or Twitter or wherever you want. But yeah, that's how you get your questions to us. If you're new to the channel, guys, drop a sub. We post Pokemon-related content every single day here on YouTube in the form of shorts and full-length videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern here on TCG Funhouse. And every Friday today, live stream box break 9 p.m., guys. ASX, tell us what you got going on.
Yeah, so this weekend, I will have a video coming up about the Collector app. And how useful that is, and how it can help you increase your profits with your Pokemon cards. So really excited about that one. And also my box break is getting here soon, and my packs are actually going to be going on sale. For you guys, when you see this, it'll be tomorrow. So May 28th, Saturday, May 28th, is when my packs are going to be going on sale. You'll see more information on my Instagram.
Where can they buy those? Can they get those from you on Instagram? Or are you doing like a PayPal thing or?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm assuming most of it's going to be through Instagram, but I have also put out my email. If you would rather just email me about details, I'm fine doing that as well. Yeah. We'll figure out, PayPal, Zelle, Cash App, whatever we got to do. But it's going to be a great time. I'm going to have some good prices, and we're going to pull all the Charizards that we can pull.
Awesome. Absolutely. We need all of the Zards, guys. All of them. Because it's not losing popularity. I don't care who you are. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much. Slap a like you slap your mama. Don't do that. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful night.